we are on our way to Sheffield Peace Gardens to go and cover yet another Stand Up X peaceful rally. There is doctors, there are NHS workers, there are public speakers that are coming out today, all of which we here at the Really Woke Show will be bringing you along with too. So let's go and see what it's all about. We're now here in sunny Sheffield. Right behind me there is the shopping mall. We're making our way to Peace Gardens now. And here we are. Just literally arrived at Peace Gardens now. And here we are. You can see police presence. So here we are, we've just arrived at the Stand Up X Peace Rally in Sheffield. There's a lot of people here. Admittedly, again, it's a bit overcast, but that doesn't seem to have deterred anybody in coming out today. Look! It's German Day! Okay, so there seems to be quite a little bit going on just now. We're just walking around the corner here. There seems to be a fair amount going on, so we'll bring you up to speed with what's going on here.
Yeah, they've got more Nazis.
Sorry, darling.
Genocide, choose your side. Let's stay together. We're going to have another one.
For 26 years, and before that I worked in care homes. I chose this career because I genuinely wanted to care for people. Sadly though, I no longer have my heart in a system I have given a large part of my life to. Because our modern healthcare system is not about health, it is an industry. This industry and pharmaceutical companies are heavily invested in illness, not health. Medicating with toxins, not curing. To cure a patient is to lose a customer. Its history is based on indoctrination and estranging us from health and naturopathy, demonising natural health, silencing and ridiculing natural health practitioners and its advocates, all to maximise profit for drug companies and keeping people sick. I have asked for this to be read out on my behalf because to do so would be career suicide. Anything that goes against the dogmatic beliefs of my colleagues and thus threatens to raise questions in the minds of the masses about the integrity of the industry will be crushed, punished and silenced. I am actively working towards an alternative career, but I can't afford to lose my job just yet. I need to live and I refuse to claim any benefits from a corrupt government that will require my compliance in their tyranny in order to receive these so-called benefits. What I have seen over these last few months has been nothing short of heartbreaking, like nothing I have ever known. What I have seen is not what you have been led to believe by the corrupt media, who are a proxy army of the establishment. People are not dying in their droves as an invisible killer tears through them like a tsunami. What I have seen are hospital grounds to a standstill, unnaturally and eerily quiet. Lockdown, social distancing and masks do not save lives. They have destroyed lives, divided and dehumanised. The negative psychological impact on our children and grandchildren will be felt for many generations to come. Many lives have and will be lost unnecessarily. They have been murdered in effect to be extras in the theatrics of this dark agenda. Useless eaters, as they call us. Thousands have died at home, too afraid to call an ambulance without going without treatment that could have saved their lives. It is estimated that an additional 185,000 people in the UK alone will die from cancer as a result of the lockdown services. All those elderly people that have died at home and in care homes, neglected, isolated from loved ones, alone and afraid.
Genocide!
Then there's the children in hospitals, alone. Parents not allowed to be with them. I can't even imagine the pain that these people are going through. Then there's the suicides, and there will be more, many, many more. I work in theatre and I have many colleagues around the UK that have told me of their experiences, confirming my suspicions and contradicting the official media narrative. All operations, with the exemption of emergencies and trauma, were cancelled, leaving thousands of highly experienced doctors, nurses and other healthcare professionals doing nothing across the UK. Nothing. Operating theatres closed. All the while, people were being fed by the media that the NHS was in crisis, or could be if we didn't act. Retired doctors and nurses were being asked to come out of retirement to help the NHS and their colleagues cope. Lies!
Lies, lies, lies!
People were told to clap the heroes of the NHS and they did like Pavlovian dogs. I was ashamed and embarrassed to be associated with this because I knew the truth. I was ashamed to be a part of the industry. A&E departments were empty across the country. Beds empty.
Bang on, darling.
Ambulances parked up or driving around empty with their sirens on to contribute to the illusion. GP surgeries closed, COVID hospitals empty, vital investigations stopped, hospitals like ghost towns, staff making good and respectful TikTok videos.
Bang on!
This week, I cried with a patient who had been diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer at the beginning of the year. Treatment and investigations had stopped and this patient had been left for months without care, any consideration.
Murder!
I said, I am sorry, I'm so sorry. The patient looked at me surprised and replied, "It's not your fault, love." But it is my fault. I represented in that moment the system that has lied to and failed these patients and so many more through ignorance and unwillingness to see beyond premeditated indoctrination and unquestionable cowardice. We as healthcare professionals have done a massive disservice to so many. The ramifications of the lies will be far-reaching for a long, long time, physically and psychologically. So now I have chosen to stand up and speak for them, and I call on all my colleagues who know the truth to do so too, to speak the truth. So I say, you need not fear death from a virus that has yet to be proven to exist.
Thank God!
A virus that has not been isolated and does not satisfy the Cox postulates. If you are to fear anything, fear the physical and spiritual deaths of yourself and your loved ones at the hands of the government puppets and their puppet masters. Fear medical tyranny. Fear the loss of your freedoms and the continued rollout of the Orwellian New World Order. Fear the masks. Fear the vaccine. We are now living in a dictatorship.
Yes!
This so-called virus, even with its fabricated and inflated statistics, has a death rate globally of 0.01%.
Yes!
Or in other words, you've got 99.9% chance of survival. I'll take my chances. This may not be the case in times to come if we do not stop what is happening, what is being perpetrated. As I write this on the 27th of August this year, 829,000 people globally have died with COVID-19. Please note with and not of. And at the same time, 6 million people have died this year of starvation. This isn't about an alleged killer virus or about saving lives. If it was about saving lives, then where is the health promotion, the health education? Instead, we have McDonald's vouchers as goddamn incentives to go and get a test, to test if we've got a virus. We're not public.
Yes. Oh, amen, darling.
The government and the media are lying, and it isn't the first time they have done so to serve their agenda. It was widely claimed that in the winter of 2017 to 2018, there was around 50,000 excessive deaths, thought to be down to flu, when the actual figure was 340.
Wow.
That's it, 340.
Wow.
The following is a quote from an article in the British Medical Journal from June 2018. The Office of National Statistics seem to have exaggerated the risk to the public in the region of 150 times.
Wow.
The House of Commons Science and Technology Committee have been complaining about the low vaccine uptake again, but we do not even have any information about the vaccination status of those people who died. There are serious ethical issues both for medical and the government here which have yet to be addressed. They lie to you then to raise fear of death by flu, and they are lying to you now. They want you to live in fear. They want you to take the vaccine. The vaccine isn't about protecting you. It is about profit for them and poisoning you and our little ones.
Bang on, darling.
This so-called virus is about harming and controlling you. It is part of the Agenda 2130 depopulation plan. Do not have the vaccine. And don't please do.
Do not have the vaccine.
Do not have the vaccine.
Do not have the vaccine. Do not have the vaccine.
You can stick your poison vaccine up your ass.
You can stick your poison vaccine. You can stick your poison vaccine. You can stick your poison vaccine up your ass.
And so the masks. Masks aren't about protecting your health or anyone else. Contrary to general public belief, surgeons and other theatre staff do not wear masks at all times during surgery and are doing so less and less. Masks are simply worn to protect the wearer from bodily fluid splashes and the patient's open wound from contamination from any foreign bodies from the mouth and nose. Never for virus protection and never for any period that extended the surgery time. However, from the 15th of June, the government advised that all hospital staff and all patients should wear face masks at all times, whilst on hospital premises, with the exception only of when eating and drinking. I don't. I am alone in this, and I've been bullied and reported to management by my own colleagues for not doing so and threatened with disciplinary action. I still don't. I have asked management to provide me with conclusive scientific evidence that masks provide protection against disease and are not harmful. They have failed to do so. Many of my colleagues are complaining of suffering with increased fatigue, headaches, sore throats, sinus infections, anxiety, claustrophobia, severe mask acne and flaring up of cold sores. I have asked to see copies of their risk assessments for mask wearing at all times. They have failed to do so. I have looked for where we provide informed, consent to patients regarding the wearing of masks at all times, and also for the individual risk assessments that are performed on patients before enforcing all patients to wear masks at all times. I found evidence of neither. All I can find is instructions to patients that they must wear a mask at all times. I raised this with a senior colleague. Their answer: patients imply consent to wearing a mask by doing so, and they do so because we tell them they must, otherwise they won't get their treatment. All patients in the hospital I work have masks on at all times, regardless of any pre-existing conditions that might indicate this. General anaesthetic patients have face masks placed under O2 masks post-surgery, a new practice based on no supporting evidence of its efficiency or potential harm. All other surgical patients enforced to wear masks at all times. I have seen some patients' oxygen levels dropping post-surgery because we are told we must enforce wearing masks at all times, based on no evidence. Patients' normal oxygen saturation levels are now based on what they are with a mask and not without a mask. Patients consenting to this because they believe the lies and the fear-mongering. I remove my patient's mask. I will not inflict potential harm simply because I am told to do so. I do not social distance. Touch is an essential part of my role. If they need me to hold their hand, put an arm around their shoulder, or link up with them when they walk, I do so. No one will tell me to not. No one will tell me not to. No one will tell me not to care for my patients. One elderly lady kissed my hand and told me the hardest part of all this has been going without hugs.
You're the definition of Wonder Woman.
I have stood up at my work. I've stood up at my work many times, trying to advocate for my patients, raising concerns with my colleagues and management, pleading with them to see beyond the smoke and mirrors, trying to get them to see that we as healthcare practitioners should be the ones driving forward our patients are cared for, not the government and not the media. That we are supposed to be an evidence-based profession, not one that blindly follows orders. I am met with deaf ears, vitriol, and labelled a conspiracy theorist charlatan. As a condition of admission to the hospital I work, all patients are tested COVID negative and have self-isolated, yet we treat each and every one of them as if they are a threat to others' health and life. So the question is, what can we do? It is simple. We say no. No at each and every step. Take off your masks. Tell others to do so too. Say no to be tested. They are meaningless. How can you test for a virus that has not been isolated with a test that was not designed as a diagnostic tool? And I am beginning to suspect that the tests are harmful. Twice they've been recalled for not being safe. Say no to the vaccine. I repeat, do not have the vaccine. Use cash. Say no to the lockdown. Visit your friends and your loved ones. Educate people. Empower each other. Research for yourselves. Research germ theory and terrain theory. Research 5G. Understand how to be healthy and take back responsibility and be responsible for your own health. Understand how and why we are being lied to. Understand how harmful chemotherapy and radiotherapy is. Party, have fun, hug people, let your kids play together. Smile at people. Open up your businesses. Live free and eat well. Nurture your body. Nurture your mind. Strengthen your immune system. Turn off your screens. Turn off the mainstream fear-mongering, lying media. Connect with each other. You are being lied to. Trust your instincts. You're not paranoid. Live the truth. Live your truth. A war is being waged on us. It is a physical war. We must wake up. Stand up and fight for our own and for others' futures. We are Stand Up X, and we will support anyone and everyone that wants to speak out and stand up. You are not alone, and we are not afraid. We are the people. We are the power. We are the 99%.
Right, we've got one more speaker. I'm very honoured to announce that we've got Dr. Mohammed Adil, a super brave soul, a real doctor, a real person of medicine, a doctor of over 30 years through all the service in the NHS, a doctor who helped his community, a doctor who had the sheer cheek to use his expertise to ask some potent and relevant questions and make them public. How dare he? We are proud to welcome Dr. Mohammed Adil.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. I'm pleased all of you are minding the social distance and masks. That's the light contest. Honorable members of the public, journalists, intellectuals, professionals, friends and families, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a great honor and privilege for me to meet you here at the historical place of Sheffield. I would like to welcome you all who have been traveling from far and distance to join us at this magnificent get-together for the freedom. Without your support, this was not possible. And I have all regards for you who have been traveling from distances to meet up together. We're going to make a day. Our homes may be hundreds and thousands of miles away, but the cause is common. That's where we're standing today, for the freedom, for the liberty, for the livelihood, and regain our rights. Recent lockdown has threatened the livelihood of the entire population of the world across the globe, with devastating effects on the economy, on the trade, on the business, on education, agriculture, industry, you name anything that has been affected terribly across the world. 7.8 billion people are suffering from this as a result of this lockdown and atrocity. But we are standing here for the unity, peace, love, and tranquility. 23rd of March 2020 was the historical day, and it will always be remembered when lockdown was imposed on the public of United Kingdom by the flawed biological mathematical model from Imperial College. We were told that 8 million people would suffer due to infection of coronavirus, and 100,000 people would die as a result of this false claim, the entire UK was locked down. That would be considered as a dark spot in the history of the United Kingdom. As a health practitioner working for the NHS for the last almost 30 years, I am a consultant surgeon. I qualified from Royal College of Surgeons. I am a general surgeon and I do bowel cancer surgery, I do breast surgery, and I am an emergency surgeon. I have saved thousands of lives in this country. I was part of one of the NHS trust when the lockdown was imposed. I am the witness of the lockdown, atrocities of the public, loss of freedom and health services by the NHS towards the public. On 23rd of March, as per record says, there were 2.6 million people waiting for their investigation and treatment for the cancers. Now, the figures have gone over 4 million. And the waiting list was 3 million at that time. But now the waiting list of the patient for their surgery, their investigation and treatment has gone over 6 million. And the NHS has admitted this will take 10 years to clear the lot, which seems to be impossible unless the extraordinary measures for the people are in place to clear the lot. That's what we are standing for. That's our entire motive is here, for the rights of the public, for the rights of the people who have been paying taxes, but their treatment has been banned, has not been seized off. The hospital admissions has been totally seized off during that time. Only emergency surgery was working. I was part of the surgical team, and I have been operating all the COVID-19 patients which came to me with a bowel dissection and all the major surgical procedures I've been carrying out and saved lives. I had unblemished record for 30 years over NHS. Yes. And I take care of my patients and look after them. I stand for the humanity. I never believe on going against the humanity. I believe on humanity and equality. I never ridicule anybody on the basis of the religion, color, race, individuality. I treat everybody on equal. Yes. That's my message. Yes. As the lockdown came, 167,000 beds in the United Kingdom, including the private hospital, were told to be vacated for the expected COVID-19 patients. 1,246 hospitals were given the directive for clearing the beds for the expected COVID-19 patient, but we have not seen that happening. On that Imperial College biological mathematical model, the patient have been suffering because they were told not to come to the hospital. There was a slogan, stay home, protect NHS, save lives. We have been saving lives, but patients have not been going to the hospital. They have protected the NHS, which the right of the public has been compromised. So that's what we're standing for, the human rights and the public rights.
Yes.
Recently, I have seen a directive a couple of days ago from Department of Health and Social Care Services released on 28th of August asking your viewpoint regarding the vaccination agenda, and does say government of United Kingdom would like to have your opinion regarding distribution of vaccine for the treatment of coronavirus and the flu virus. See the mixture of the words? Flu, everybody got a flu. COVID-19 and flu virus. And they have 5 subheadings under that distribution of vaccination. Number 1, authorization of unlicensed vaccine to the public. Are you in favor of that? No. That's very important document, and we've been given deadline until the 11:59 on 18th of September. You need to decide whether you want to be having an injection, behaving like a sheep, and tattoo marks on your forehead. That was the first one, authorizing unlicensed vaccine to the public. 66 million people in the United Kingdom. They are very sensible people, highly educated, very civilized. I have a lot of respect for all of you. I'm part of this system of 30 years working for NHS, unblemished record. Number 2, the workforce in place to administer vaccine into the public. Number 3, the civil liberty and immunity. Number 4, promotion of vaccination. And number 5, wholesale selling of the vaccination in UK and in the rest of the world. Can you imagine that, guys? 5-6 months ago, when I said all these possibilities are coming, you must have seen my videos in different languages. Was I right or wrong at that time?
You were right. You were right.
I said that. That's going to be implemented, forced vaccination, whether you like it or not. You got to stand against that atrocity and imposing
consent.
that again, nobody can ask you to be injected poisonous substance unless you are willing to do that. I'm a surgeon of 35-year unblemished record. We get consent form signed by the public, a patient, before doing any operation. Even patient is dying because of any serious surgical catastrophe. If patient says, no, I don't want any treatment, we cannot proceed. Similarly, you have the right to say no to the vaccine and all the poison substances which are going to be administered to you. Here, I would like to remind you and the health professionals across the world who are listening my voice today, with hundreds of people here and millions across the world, that the health professional has given an oath. That is historical Hippocratic oath based on the medical ethics. I have given that oath soon after I graduated from my medical college. That's 35 years ago. I said, I will do no harm to the patients. I will not administer any poisonous substances into public or my patients, and I will never encourage to do so to anyone injecting the poisonous material into my patient. That is the oath which we have given health professionals. I know, I must appreciate millions of doctors across the world. They are talking. They have a recent interview of 200 doctors from the United States of America. I was part of that. 600 doctors from Germany. And we have got a fair amount of doctors in the United Kingdom, and more are joining us. Just now you have listened Emmy's verdicts here. I do second that verdict because I am part of that. I'm a surgeon. She is a recovery nurse, so we know what's happening inside. And since I've been working in that health system, I know because of that lockdown, 70 to 80% of the hospital beds were lying empty until today. I can witness as a part of the NHS that the imperial model was totally flawed and based on the influenza virus of the study of 14 years ago. But I must confess here that we will stand with the public, with the human rights, with the liberty. We promote freedom of speech, and we promote for health and safety. I said that by the end of April. Exactly what I'm telling today, because I'm eyewitness for the atrocities happening in the health system and across the world, leading to devastating effect on the economy, on the education and the health services. I said exactly the same thing a few months ago. On 22nd of April, I was dismissed from the service. That was my fault, that I went to social media and expressed my viewpoint. Under Article 10 Human Rights Act, I can hold my opinion and I can express myself. That's why I did. I went to the YouTube.
You're a brave doctor. Brave doctor.
I was taken very seriously by my regulator, and they called a meeting. And they summoned a letter to me that I need to appear in front of the interim order tribunal of the General Medical Council, which is usually a last stage before they sanction anybody. Nobody told me before that is a serious issue. I still think about it could have been better option in a respectful way to ask me to come round the table and have a talk and what exactly is required. Then I would have convinced them that this is what I'm feeling. But they went straight on the interim order tribunal meeting, and they suspended me for 12 months. 1st of June, they suspended me for 12 months because of speaking the truth. They suspended me, but they could not silence me. They could not silence me, neither they will in future. So that is absolute unfair dismissal, and I have serious concern about the General Medical Council, its members, interim order tribunal, who have been doing the same thing to a lot of the health professionals. And I've got documents with me. 400 doctors have suicided in UK in last 4 years, from 2014 to 2018. And from August 19 until August 22, 369 doctors have been summoned, they have been suspended, they have been cautioned, warned, and they have taken undertaken, mostly belonging to the ethnic minority. But we talk about the equality and justice. That is not right. So I am standing for that. And General Medical Council document says they admitted that 111 doctors committed suicide from 2005 to 2013. That is the General Medical statement. You should go home and please explore this when you're on Google. Type in how many doctors suicided in health services. They have been penalized. But I would say here, our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. And I must appreciate your kind love, dedication, sacrifice, and your time coming all the way to join us. We made this day historical. Bit by bit makes a history. And in conclusion, I would say that the lockdown is totally unnecessary. Because there's more damage. More people have died because of lockdown rather than the coronavirus, having mortality of 0.03 to 0.25%, as described by all the epidemiologists. What were you doing in lockdown for? And what were you planning for? Vaccination, when already the virus has died down, and there's only infection of virus. We do understand the virus exists, but it's not the way you have been trying to orchestrate. We're not saying that virus is a hoax. Virus does present, as the scientific evidence say, but coronavirus is part of our body. It's a host. And there are millions of strains of coronavirus across in the environment before it came to the knowledge of the mainstream media and the government. And the RT-PCR test designed by Carrie Mullis in 1985, who got the Nobel Prize in 1993, said that this test can be used for the microorganism. On that basis, he got the Nobel Prize. But his test has been used, but only thing is, there's only 50 to 60% sensitivity of this test. The accuracy is 50 to 60%, but 90% people would be positive, but doesn't mean that they need admission, or they should be out of work, or they are the source of infection to the other. Certainly not. Test positive doesn't mean the infection. The definition of infection is presence of the microorganism with the sign and symptom, and the clinical manifestation, which include cough, fever, sweating, and even worse than pneumonia, and that is kind of a symptom. But anybody In this crowd, for example, 200 people standing here, they will test RT-PCR positive, and say 30, 40, 60 people come back positive. Doesn't mean that they need to be admitted into the hospital. That is just a test. And as I said, 90% people will have test positive, but doesn't mean that they are infected. So please clarify your mind from this. Do your work as normal. And we are against lockdown. We don't want a vaccine. Say no to this document. You can explore that on the government website. I have tried to circulate this document to everybody. So you should know yourself before it's too late. I am standing with you. All the health professionals standing with you. You should be able to understand what's going on. It's not just a virus. Virus is a tiny, big, invisible enemy. We're not going to be frightened by the virus itself.
Thank you.
We, the movement,
very much.
pledge support.
Very kind of you to come all the way to participate with us. Is there any question I would like to answer to the public as a health professional with long-standing experience? You might still have some questions, doubt, or anything I could explain.
I'll just say that.
WHO changed definition of pandemic from actual sick cases, dead people, to amount of infection. From doctor's perspective, can you understand? Can you explain us so we can understand what should be definition of pandemic, genuine situation?
It is a very good question, actually. There are two things. One is epidemic. When it arises both in Sheffield, there is epidemic. Some disease arises here, that's epidemic. When it's pandemic, means it's uncontrollable, it's not treatable, and it involves the rest of the world. The WHO actually declared this coronavirus, which was detected by Chinese and by end of December, and they actually called that time it's a COVID. No, sorry, it's a SARS 219, and then it was a SARS COVID, and then the WHO actually named it as COVID-19. That was on 11th of March, but they said it pandemic. But you can see, I can tell you that this is not a pandemic. It has been made look like a pandemic. Remember that. There are a lot of countries which never had this incident, like North Korea, Vietnam, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan. And in many countries, the lockdown has not been in place, like in Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Vietnam, South Korea, North Korea, and a lot of countries. And they have done better than the lockdown actually. And the government of UK has actually admitted the countries who have not done lockdown have done much better compared to the United Kingdom. So with this, I have got my respectable, honorable friend, P.S. CORBYN, whose dedication is always highly appreciated. And he's been traveling across the world, across the country, from one place to another. I really have a lot of regard for P.S. CORBYN and his friend.
Dr. Adil! Yes, after he spoke, I thought, remember, that was where we pledged support from the movement for all medical workers who are victimised for defending the people against the lockdown lies. So we want to repeat that here. We will defend all victimised health workers who are fighting for the truth. Yes! And the way forward, of course, is come to London in massive numbers on the 26th of September. And some people have asked me, what am I doing on the 19th? Because there's other things maybe happening on the 19th. On the 19th of September, I'm going to be at a mass rally in Portsmouth, which is, you notice, very near to the Isle of Wight. So, just a piece of information. But you see, on the 19th, we want to have rallies in towns all over the country to fight against the new normal and build for a mass rally like we've never seen before on September the 26th in London, 12 noon. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks to all the speakers today.
Okay, thank you.
That's an amazing banner. Did you make the banner yourselves? Wonderful, wonderful. It's really good to see more people out here. What brought you out personally today?
What station are you doing then?
Sorry?
What station?
Oh, it's on the back of my jacket. I'm on YouTube, yeah.
Oh,
I'm on YouTube, yes.
Because of the fraud and the whole consequences of the pandemic, we want
Brilliant.
to wake people up to the harm that is being imparted upon the population of this country by our government, the right to truth and information that is not fear-mongered and false. So it's really important for people to know their rights and to know how to keep health and well-being without vaccinations.
Well, I've been to quite a few of them across the country. Is this the first one you've been to? Have you been to any others?
No, we're used to standing up for people's rights. We've done a lot of anti-fracking protests and we like to come to these to support events for truth.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for talking to us
You're
at the
more
Really
than
Well Show
welcome.
today, darling. Amazing banner. Thank you so much for letting us film that. Cheers.
Bye.
Wow, Really Woke Show. We're here in Sheffield at Peace Gardens for the rally today. How have you found speaking to the people today, Doctor?
Thank you, Roxanne. It has been a wonderful time with the people. They travel across the country to participate. It's a extraordinary ceremony to against the COVID-19 and its effects, against lockdown, against vaccination and the social distancing. And there has been extraordinary speakers who have been speaking according to their viewpoints, but they all had very good speeches here. So I think the message has been given to the government and the health authorities of what they have done to the public. They have been deprived of for their basic fundamental rights. They have not been able to have their treatment. 6.5 million people are waiting for the investigation and treatment, and a lot of people died in nursing home due to mismanagement and due to poor planning. We could have saved thousands of lives by taking the right measures in the very beginning when they were trying to empty the beds for the expected coronavirus patient, as described by the Imperial College. But actually we haven't seen that flood of patients coming to the hospital. Beds are lying empty. About 7 to 80% beds were empty in the hospital. And that those the resources could have been used for treating patients, investigating and treating especially the cancer patient, the elderly patient who were waiting a long time for their treatment. They have been deprived of. Now the waiting list for the patient in UK is over 6.5 million, and the NHS has admitted that it will take at least 8 to 10 years to clear the lot, which is very much worrying, because a lot of patients would not be able to access the facilities as from the NHS as used to be before. Similarly, the lockdown has resulted into collapse of the economy of the country, 20% deprivation of the GDP, which is equivalent to the 3 recessions. If we have planned it like the other countries like Sweden, Denmark and Norway and Vietnam and North Korea and other countries have done it, that they haven't put the lockdown on the public. The school and industries and agriculture has been going as normal as ever before. So they have done actually better compared to the countries who have done the lockdown. And the government of the United Kingdom has actually admitted their fault, that they have learned a lesson from their neighbors and from different countries. So they are trying to rectify the things, but I think the damage has already been made in the last 5 months.
Agreed.
Which is difficult to recover.
Yeah. In your professional opinion, Doctor, what would you like to see implemented now off the back of all of these public speeches being made?
Public has got freedom to express their viewpoint, although there are some hiccups, like the law and order maintaining authority. They are trying to make arrests and to catch hold of people for expressing their viewpoint. But actually, in a democratic country like United Kingdom, everybody has got a right to express his or her viewpoint. Everybody has got a right to hold the opinion that is according to the Human Right Act 10. So that should not be banned, because we are very proud of British justice system and freedom of speech, and that should be maintained. So public voice should be heard and the action should be taken accordingly. We are protesting. We're standing for the public, with the public, and the public is looking for their rights. So that is my message. So that this thought process of public expression and the gathering and their request for resuming their fundamental rights should be acknowledged for the safety and well-being.
Will the people of the UK see you speaking out at more events?
Yes, I think across the country the events are going on, right from London to Scotland. There is a huge list of protests everywhere is going on. It's building up more and more potential, more and more pressure on the government to listen to them. It's not just simply to inject people. Recently, they have trying to introduce a new bill to amend the Human Medicine Regulation Act 2012 they're trying to amend it to 2020. According to that, there are 5 requisites of that. They're trying to get the alteration in the Human Medicine Act 2012 in a way that the government should be able to authorize selling unlicensed vaccine. That's number one. Number two, they are trying to seek permission public viewpoint to manufacture and to inject vaccine into the public. And also they are trying to make a wholesale of the vaccine to be selling in different part of the world for the profit. That's what I warned the public 4 or 5 months ago that's coming true now, and they are going to get more and more workforce to implement the order of the government to inject people moving from door to door and house to house to inject the compulsory vaccination. And the deadline is on 18th of September 2020.
So are you going to raise public awareness about this? Are you going to raise more public awareness about this?
That's why we are out, and we are creating public awareness regarding the expected implementing an amendment of the law 2012 to 2020, which is not acceptable.
Understood. Dr. Adil, thank you so much for speaking to us at the Really Woke Show today. We hope to catch up with you again at one of the other events. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Tomorrow we are going to go in Leeds. We've got a big protest in Leeds, so we will speak up there.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll catch you up there. We're going to be at Leeds tomorrow. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thanks a lot. Take care. All the best.
So that is it for Sheffield. A lot of brilliant things have happened today. Admittedly, I got here a little bit late, so I missed the first bit. Tomorrow, there will be even more. So we'll be back real soon to bring you up to speed with where we are next.